Hi there, my friend. My name is Chad Reyes. I am one of the co-leaders of community transformation in Staten Island. And I'm excited to share with you today about the impact that the John Maxwell Leadership Foundation is making in Guatemala. Now, Guatemala was one of the first countries that they did this in, where they did country transformation. So right now we're doing community transformation in Staten Island, which is one of the first communities in the United States. But country transformation started in Guatemala. So I just want to share with you a little bit about the impact that's being made in Guatemala. And to do that, we're going to get started with a little video that is going to help you understand about the impact that's happening there. And then I'm going to be sharing about how we were able to glean stuff from Guatemala and bring it to our own community in Staten Island. So with that said, we're going to watch a short little video that's going to share a little bit about that.
Sí, fue muy importante este libro en mi vida. Ahí venían lecciones y preguntas. Eso me hizo reflexionar en cuanto a mi actitud. Decidí hacer algunos cambios en mi vida. A partir de mi cambio de actitud, yo fui mejorando en la escuela, en mis notas, menos importancia a las redes sociales, a la televisión. De mi parte le agradezco a la fundación de John Maxwell por haber enviado este libro, este programa que es muy importante, como una clave para llegar al éxito. Tu actitud le da color a tu vida.
La sesión que más me impactó a mí fue las decisiones, porque lo puse en práctica en mi vida. Tomé la decisión de estudiar, aunque yo no quería, pero después de haber ese programa de Yo Decido, fue que me motivó más seguir con mi estudio para alcanzar un éxito más en mi vida y seguir adelante. Le agradecemos a la Fundación John Maxwell, que fue algo de su parte que nos ha regalado a nosotros. Hoy tomaré buenas decisiones que beneficiarán a los demás.
Antes era yo muy tímido, no tenía amigos, pero ya cuando la maestra nos mostró el libro de Yo Decido, la sesión que me impactó fue la de relaciones, que nos ayuda para encontrar amigos y ser mejores amigos con los demás, a tratarnos mejor. Nadie es tan poderoso que no necesite un amigo, ni tan humilde que no pueda ser uno de ellos.
Muy bien, se comprometió a ser responsable y hacer su compromiso. Es la lectura en voz alta del párrafo.
Siempre tenía problemas en mi casa donde siempre escuchaba comentarios como que, no sé, que yo siendo mujer no iba a tener la oportunidad de llegar lejos, que en vano estaba estudiando. Hicieron llegar a pensar de que yo no podía lograrlo. Bueno, cuando comenzamos a recibir las sesiones, llegó el día en que nos tocó recibir la sesión que se trataba sobre la actitud. Me fui dando cuenta que tal vez la opinión de los demás era así, pero que si yo seguía podía demostrarles de que yo sí podía y al mismo tiempo demostrarme a mí misma, que era lo más importante. Yo ahora tengo una actitud positiva, siempre estoy viendo adelante, ya no dejo que los comentarios que me puedan hacer, ya sea en mi casa o fuera de ella, me afecten en poder alcanzar mis sueños, mis metas y demostrarme a mí misma que sí pude lograrlo y algún día, no sé, poder demostrarle a todos que lo que ellos creían que yo no podía, lo logré. Yo quiero agradecerle a la Fundación de John C. Maxwell por habernos donado el material, que nos ha sido de mucha ayuda bueno, no solo a mí, sino a tantos jóvenes. La actitud es algo pequeño que hace una gran diferencia.
Los estudiantes son una parte fundamental y principal para mi vida, son mi motivo, son mi pasión. En el momento en que nosotros damos las sesiones, principios y valores y las leyes, va dejando huella en cada uno de los de los corazones de estos jóvenes, que en el futuro sabemos de que lo van a seguir poniendo en práctica.
Hay estudios científicos que dicen que el carácter usted ya lo trae, ¿verdad? Si usted aún...
Mi experiencia como docente en el programa Yo Decido creo que ha sido muy complementaria para reforzar cada uno de los valores de nuestros alumnos. Considero de que ha sido muy impactante para cada una de la vida de nuestros alumnos y lo hemos observado en el diario vivir de ellos, ¿verdad? Tanto en lo individual como con cada una de sus familias. Estamos viendo de una forma muy positiva el cambio que cada uno de los alumnos y alumnas demuestran con cada uno de los valores enseñados.
La decisión que más me gustó fue la valentía, porque habla también del temor y sobre cómo tenemos que levantarnos para lograr nuestros objetivos. Cuando conocí el proyecto me hablaron sobre eso, yo ya entendí más qué es la valentía, y entonces yo como que ya empecé a captar algunas frases que ahí están en el libro, como decir el temor no es un problema para que uno se detenga, la valentía nos ayuda a ponernos objetivos, poder no levantarnos. Y eso me enseñó a seguir adelante para lograr mis metas y lograrme superar, tanto como física y como mentalmente. Y seguir adelante con mi mamá, porque mi mamá tiene una enfermedad y que es terminal, y eso me ayuda a seguir levantarme. Valentía es seguir adelante a pesar del temor.
Wow. You know, it's just so powerful to see how a few people said yes, and we're seeing a whole nation transformed. You know, Guatemala has about 18 million people, and about 2 million people are involved in transformation tables. And, you know, our friend and mentor, John Maxwell, he says this all the time. He says when people ask him, you know, how they can change their world, his answer is always the same. Start by improving yourself. And that's what we're doing with Community Transformation Staten Island. We're giving people a platform to help build values that could ultimately see lasting change in their families, lasting change in their relationships, lasting change in their businesses, and ultimately lasting change in our community. So I want to share with you a little bit about the pictures of transformation. John talks about this all the time. He says that transformation happens in 6 ways. It's a waterfall. It's top down. It requires leadership. It requires influencers. It requires people to say, I'm willing to take that chance. And some of you that are going to listen to this video, and some of you that are listening to this video, are those people. You are the leaders of our community, and we're asking you for buy-in. I am personally asking you for buy-in, knowing that we cannot accomplish the transformation that is happening in Guatemala and in other countries throughout the world, and now in our community in Staten Island, without your buy-in. So it's a waterfall. The second is the ladder. It's a ladder from the bottom up. It's a ladder where we give people who maybe didn't have those chances the mobility to accomplish the things that they want in their life. It's a heart. You know, John says this all the time. He says that when a heart is not right, you could put all the laws you want in place, and that person will figure out how to get around those laws. But when the heart's right, it embraces values, and it's an inside-out thing. It starts on the inside, and it comes out through our hands. It comes out through the habits. It comes out through just our interactions with others. It's joined hands. It's a side-by-side. It desires partnership. And I love, my favorite quote is a strong partnership. Remember what I just said here, a strong partnership, not a partnership, but a strong partnership divides the work and multiplies the impact. So I believe that you're that person who understands how important it is to be in a partnership where we could come alongside you, come alongside your organization, come alongside your school, your business, and join together. It's a table. You heard the stories of what's going on in Guatemala. It's a table where few get together, and then it enables growth, and it takes over a country as it's doing in Guatemala, or it takes over a community as it's going to be doing in Staten Island. And then lastly, it's a bridge. I think many of you would agree that we've seen so many people create so much division. We've seen it across the board. It doesn't matter whether you're on the left or on the right. It doesn't matter whether you're of one faith or another. We've seen so much division, and we need now to see a community that is now embracing unity. So my friend, these are the 6 pictures of transformation. I'm welcoming you into this vision, where I'm encouraging everyone I know to get involved in this, because I know that when you see people embrace values around the table, it changes everything. So share a little bit about the story. My wife and I had gone to Guatemala in May of 2021, and to see the impact that's being made there. You know, as I mentioned earlier, Guatemala has over 2 million people involved in transformation tables, and over half of them are youth. And the other half are business leaders, churches, you know, all different aspects, healthcare. It's powerful. You know, in front of us right now is my wife and I were blessed to be at the table when they signed into law the Office of Integrity in Guatemala. And that office, and right now what you're looking at is you're seeing the Attorney General of Guatemala, of the country, who we were a couple of minutes before that picture was taken, we were sitting at that table. There was 2 tables, and we were at one of those tables, and we got to see a monumental thing happen in that nation, where she signed into law stating that this Office of Integrity will overlook the elected officials and will overlook the judges to keep integrity in that nation. Powerful. And what you're seeing is John Maxwell and his CEO of all of his companies, Mark Cole, taking a picture with the Attorney General. So then there, as we were in Guatemala, after John was sharing how instrumental and how impactful that meeting was, and then you'll see that Mark Cole was sharing with the group, because we had 20 of us that were on that, were in Guatemala for country transformation, and we were there seeing what was happening. And I'm just going to share a little picture with you so you can get a good picture of what's happening, because what's happening in Guatemala is going to happen in Staten Island. Yes, granted, it may be different cultures, it may be different people, it may be different sizes, different ethnic groups, but I can promise you this: when a nation and a community buy in to say, I want to see change, and then they buy into values, we can see lasting change. And we're seeing it in Guatemala, and we're starting to see it now in Staten Island. Right there is a picture of John listening to a translator via an audio technology that of the woman that's speaking, and she's translating. And this is one of the largest banks in Guatemala. This is some of their key leaders that are involved in transformation tables. John sharing about how values are so important to seeing change. Because without values, people will manipulate anything. But with good values, you see lasting change. There's a picture, that picture on the bottom left and the bottom right is one of my favorite pictures of the whole trip when we were in Guatemala. Those are 3 young kids, and they're out in front of our hotel room. And every day they're asking us if they could shine our shoes. And John, as we left the bus that's in the back, we were walking into the hotel, and John said, guys, I want to get everyone's shoes shine. So there was 4 of us there at that point. And John gave them $100. And he said, you know, John being John's just a natural encourager. John Maxwell being who he is encouraging those boys, telling them how amazing of a job they're doing. Just to see the impact of a global leader caring about those 3 young men that were there. It was so incredibly impactful. Then we went to another bank, and we're seeing this bank has a bank in 9 countries, 9 Central America countries. And it was broadcast across all of their locations. And John's talking about how important it is to live good values, how important the value of attitude is, how important the value of listening is, and how they can change their world. So we were at that event. John was talking that one of the gentlemen in that picture is the president of that bank. Then we went to a Chamber of Industries event where John spoke to some of the largest businesses in all of Guatemala. At that table, one of the people that was represented as one of the board members for the Chamber of Industry had 200,000 employees that eventually is going to be starting transformation tables in their business and their organization to see lasting change in their country and ultimately in their business. That's Danielle and I, my beautiful wife, as we're going to an event that's a little bit past the rainbow, a little bit over the rainbow. We were walking towards that event, and I thought it was just so perfect as we were coming from sitting with the Chamber of Industries board members, and now that we're going to the Chamber of Industries event where we had some of the biggest organizations, biggest industries in Guatemala that John was going to be sharing with. And that's John and his friend and translator Juan, pretty much talking about how important it is to change their world through values. Then we went to an event where it was held at a church that was one of the largest churches in the country, and that was not the event. So that event there was not the actual event, but that's what it would look like if it was filled to capacity. Due to COVID, we were limited on the amount of people that were able to be in the venue, but there were 1,500 or so people there, and we're sharing about what it looks like to change their world. John meeting some of the John Maxwell team members when we were in Guatemala. The team members are there as well. And then this is John being John. He uses his time well. And they did 2 podcasts. You should check the podcasts out on the John Maxwell Leadership podcast. A few of us having lunch. This is John with Juan, who's translating for John in any Spanish-speaking countries. And he's commenting and giving him praise, and you could tell how Juan Varican was just so uncomfortable. And then John speaking to the mayors of Guatemala. And if you can see in Spanish, that's a Change Your World book. But these mayors came up to the front. You see that little card? They came up to the front and they committed that they would get their communities, because each of them are responsible for some of them for 50,000, some of them for 100,000, some of them for a few million. But they were going to work in their community to bring transformation tables, and some of them already have done that, transformation tables to their part of their community as part of Guatemala, country transformation in Guatemala. So powerful, guys. And we're going to do the same thing in Staten Island. We're going to go community by community. We're going to go school by school. We're going to go industry by industry. We're going to go business by business. But little by little, we're going to see transformation of our island. And we're going to rally behind one another to see a true change that will be generational. It won't just be 1 or 2 years or 3 years. What I love about the John Maxwell Leadership Foundation is they understand how important it is to be on this journey together for many years. And they're partnering with us, not for 1 year, not for 2, but for many year journey, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, however long it takes, so that we can see lasting change. And then think about this. We see lasting change in our community. And then Staten Island, that has been known as the forgotten borough, becomes a borough on a hill that shines a light to all the other boroughs and eventually all the other communities throughout the United States. In front of you, you'll also see that John was presented with this beautiful picture, and this picture was the multiple different children of ethnicity and how Guatemala as a nation is so thankful for the work that the John Maxwell Leadership Foundation is doing there in country transformation, that over 1 million youth have been involved in these transformation tables. So what does that mean for you? As I shared about what we were involved with in Guatemala, the reason why I shared is because as my wife and I, Danielle, were there, we were gleaning from what they've done. They've obviously done something that's working to have 2 million of 18 million people involved in transformation tables. It's about 11%, a little bit over that. Well, we gleaned a lot. And one of the things we recognize is how they were able to engage all 8 streams of influence. So we want to encourage you, if you're in one of those 8 streams of influence, connect with us. How can we partner with you to see a change in the media world in Staten Island, in the arts and entertainment space, in the education realm, in the healthcare? Also, these are the 3 areas that Community Transformation Staten Island, through thorough research, focus groups, surveys, informal and formal interviews, 3 areas. The first area is to see 10% of our population, which is about 47,000 people involved in transformation tables over a period of years. You can be involved in that. You can start a transformation table. You could bring it to your organization. You could be involved in a transformation table. The second is to see lasting impact and change to graduation rates, because one of the things that impact someone's ability to earn a good living is the ability to graduate. Well, when you really start looking and going deeper into the data, you recognize that the ability to graduate is impacted by 3rd grade reading levels. So part of Community Transformation Staten Island is going to be working on impacting 3rd grade reading levels so that we can impact graduation rates so that people could have a higher earning potential. And then lastly, as many of you have probably dealt with, I've had to deal with people in our circle, is the loss of loved ones due to the opioid crisis. I know it's tough. It's something that has impacted so many of us in our community. But those are the 3 areas that we're going to be working. And we're going to be working with people and leaders in the community that have already been doing this in the community so well. And John Maxwell and his foundation wants to come alongside of them, help them, and allow us to rise as a community. Because all of us together is better than each of us working in our silos. So the last part is how we're accomplishing this, and this will give a full 360 picture to you, is we've established a cabinet that's been working together since mid-2020 on laying all the foundational work that's needed for Community Transformation Staten Island. We've put an advisory board together of some of the top key leaders in our community, some of the people from some of the institutions, some of the biggest institutions, some of the educational institutions, some of the business groups. So we have a great advisory board, and we also have a youth committee whose sole purpose is to make sure that we get these transformation tables into the schools in our community. So that's community transformation. The reason why I wanted to paint a picture for you around Guatemala is because they're doing it there. They've done it there for years. They've been there now 8 years in country transformation, going on 9, and they're seeing lasting change. And my friend, as someone who's lived in this community for most of my life, and for many of you that are listening to this video, you've been here too. If we could agree on these 3 things, if we could agree that we want a brighter future for our children, we want a brighter future for our grandchildren, and we want a brighter future for our nieces and nephews, then I am welcoming you into this journey with us. It's not going to be easy, but I promise you that anything that is easy is usually not worthwhile, and anything that's worthwhile is definitely not easy. So this is not going to be easy, but we want to partner with you. We want to come alongside of you, and we want to see a lasting change for our kids, our grandkids, and our nieces and nephews. And if we could agree on those 3 things, we could do tremendous things together. If we can't agree, then we're coming from different worlds. Because if we don't want to see a brighter future for those 3, then I don't know why we're doing it. So I appreciate you. Thank you for spending time with us today. And let's make Staten Island a place that will be a light on a hill for every other community in the United States, as the John Maxwell Leadership Foundation eventually takes this to other communities throughout our country. God bless you. I appreciate spending time with us today, and I hope you found this to be valuable. Let's share the message. Let's reach the people. Let's see transformation. We could do it. I believe in you. Bye-bye.